All right, we are rocking and rolling. Yeah, should we get this thing started?
Rock on. Is that an old phrase? Does that phrase even, do people even use that anymore?
I think they still do. I think they do, and it's timeless. It'll last forever.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so like if you
definitely
say, hey, all right, we're going to get this thing rocking and roll, or this thing started, and I say, ye stinking ha, how does that work?
that's not nearly as popular or common. It's definitely you though.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yes, yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Yes.
I want people to remember.
All right.
How
Well,
are you today?
are you talking to me or are you introducing?
Well, I'm just talking, I'm introducing and everything. How are you?
Okay. I'm good. I'm fantastic. How are you?
Amazing. I'm
Living
blessed to
life
be
to the
alive.
fullest right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, fullest would include y'all. You know what I'm saying? It would be
Yes.
there or within reasonable proximity so that I could hang out with y'all. To me, that would be to the fullest.
Okay, so not quite
Yeah.
the fullest.
But I am blessed no matter where I go. I am very blessed. And I tell a lot of people that I am.
Right on. See,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. That's where I live.
I'm definitely doing better than I was before, I'll say. Being that last podcast sesh, I was in turnaround that I spoke with all of you guys. By the way, thanks for joining in. Thanks everyone for listening in, tuning in, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether that's mowing the lawn or washing the undersides of your ankles, whatever you're doing. Thanks for joining and listening in. But yeah,
Where'd
we're
that
on
come from?
episode number 3. Just two
Yeah.
dudes chatting it
Yes.
up, having a good
Yes.
time, talking
Duo jive.
duo jive. Two guys talking and a perspective out of the norm, out of the ordinary
Very much so, yes.
that I'd like to believe. You know. So,
And I have to agree with you. I do. Yes, absolutely. Well,
but going
okay.
back
Yeah,
to
thanks.
what we were talking about, I'm doing a lot better than I was because of that last episode. If you guys listen in on the last episode, I was in turnaround, which that last episode I go into a deep dive on what a turnaround is. So listen into that if you want to know. But I'm officially done, so free. Working the minimum amount of hours I can, which is, in my opinion, great right now. So can't
Uh-huh.
complain.
All
Look
right.
forward to my weekends off, and
So are you on 8-hour days
I am right now.
and only weekdays?
Yeah, yeah, just weekday, just normal.
You must have a turnaround trailer there.
Yes, we do. Yes.
As far as I can know, as far as I know, the buzz I'm getting, Sinclair is in turnaround now.
Yeah, they're going to be in turnaround for another 3 weeks. I'm splitting with one of my coworkers, so I only did the first half,
Right on. Right on. Cool.
and then he's taking over the second half. But I was glad to get my part done and over with and get back to normal
Yes.
with a little bit extra
Yes.
money in my pocket, which is
Yes.
something that I'm going to bring up later when we get to that topic.
The reason why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. I like that. I'm looking forward to that. Cool. So are we recapping?
Of course. A good recap is always in order.
Yes, absolutely. I think last week we talked about life with God and worship. I, of course, threw that out there as a topic. Stinking fantastic life.
Mm-hmm.
Life on the road as a turnaround guy. Of course, our movie, we did discuss movies briefly and the fact that we're
Yes.
starting Christian school. What about you?
Well, I mean, other than last week, not to go back into last week, but
We're recapping.
well, yeah, but not to redo what we've already spoken about. Definitely tune into that episode. Yeah, just getting off of turnaround, going back into the normal lifestyle, up here in Wyoming. For anybody, if you don't know where that is, it's somewhere in the United States. Have fun looking for it. Just kind of getting into the groove, looking forward to summer. It's coming up and possibly some soon to have vacays because of turnaround work. Being able to make some extra money towards that. So
Congratulations,
kind of
by the
what I'm
way.
looking forward to. Oh yeah.
So what happened this week besides coming out of turnaround? Anything?
That was pretty much the most notable thing because, like you're familiar with, turnaround kind of consumes your life. So I really don't have much opportunity to do anything else in the meantime.
Okay.
So kind of getting
Right
back
on.
to a groove of being able to recap and communicate, different things throughout the week.
Right on.
What about you?
Well, I moved. So if you tuned in last, I was in Kansas and finishing actually a turnaround. I also was in turnaround. Of course, that's what I do predominantly, as I spend my time in refineries or chemical plants as a turnaround consultant for safety. And I was wrapping up a turnaround in Kansas, McPherson, Kansas, and started a new job in a new project actually in where am I now? Oh, I'm in Morris, Illinois. So I brought my motorhome with me, of course,
Smart
and
move.
so the motorhome and I, along with my car attached to the back of the motorhome, we traveled up here to Morris, and I got set up in this really cool campground. I wish there was a way to communicate how cool this is, but this guy's on four the guy that owns the campground is on 400 acres, and there's a couple inside of the 400-acre lots that's very wooded, and they've got a couple valleys and hills and what have you. But he's got and a river that runs through it, and he's got a couple of subdivisions inside of it, and then also several campground locations. And I'm in one of those campground locations, and you can tell because since I got here there are people coming in. It's, I guess, getting to that time of year where they're engaging in summer activities, and
Oh,
they're
it's a coming.
yeah, they're
It
coming back
certainly
to their
is.
RVs. Some people leave their RVs. Apparently, they leave them all year, and they built decks next to them, so they're coming back to them. And I'm hearing activity even while we speak. I'm hearing people show up at their
We need a second home. I think that's a smart move. We need a second home like that. Maybe not an RV, but just having a second home that we can vacate to.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple people out here that have mobile homes. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, mobile homes.
And then there are no foundation homes in any of these subdivisions that are out here. They're all either mobile homes or RVs, which would be either a motor home or a pull behind trailer.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of it, of course, because I spend quite a few months out of the year in my RV, and I'm a big fan of it. That would actually be a fun topic one of these times. The RV life.
Yeah. There
Something
you
I've
go.
off yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually when I retire from here, from doing what I do and traveling full time, I considered very strongly starting an RV repair business.
Quite the Yeah, well, that's quite the business.
Yes, yes, it is. And there are some people that have been very, very, very successful with it. So I don't see it as taking too big of a hit in my pay because I live at a certain lifestyle. I would be able to continue some of that, I'm sure, and vacation frequently with my family.
There we go. I
Yep.
think that's where it's at. We need a house. We need a second home that we can all vacate to. Something somewhere that would be reoccurring that we'd all enjoy a bunch of times and not just once. That we can take once or twice a year as a group or individual.
Well, I'm thinking that y'all would more prefer to vacay in a more tropical,
100.
subtropical location, not a place like this where you got amazing woods and campfires and fun, So you
Also a
wouldn't,
fun time. It's
yeah.
fun. It's not my
Well,
vibe, but it's fun.
okay. Well, I mean, I happen to enjoy it. I'm getting to that age. I enjoy it quite a bit, but I also would understand. I want to very much so want to get our second home in the Orlando area because
There
if
we
we're
go.
going to
Now we're
vacay,
talking.
yeah, if we're going to vacay, just why not do it down there?
Just so much to do, I mean, it's got
There
everything.
is,
A little bit of
yes,
everything for everybody.
everything. That's correct. You got restaurants, you got places to visit, you got plenty of sports, and then on top
Beaches
of that, you've
galore.
got yeah, yeah. On top of that, you've got yeah, you got the beaches, and then you got the theme parks and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot to do there. A lot. It has
Yes,
a
sir.
lot going for it. So let's just go ahead and get on that. I know that my brother is looking at some spots down there.
Now we're talking. Yeah, he's the expert in it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he and his wife are successful, by the way, in their ventures as Airbnb or Verbo locations in Branson, Missouri. Have some great spots there.
Hmm.
If anybody wants any more information about that, they can email us or call us or something like that.
That'd be smart. Maybe we attach our emails, Duo Jive email.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
So I relocated. Now I'm in Morris, Illinois, and I am actually here for for a lengthier period of time. I'm scheduled to be here for about 13 weeks while we finish a project, which is the build of a new tank. So I'll consult as far as safety is concerned. Well, I had just mentioned that I had relocated
Yeah.
and got all set up here in Morris and doing a longer job and enjoying it. Working with one crew, a very small crew by comparison to having the entire refinery at my disposal and to manage, right? To take responsibility of, to make sure everybody's working safe. Don't have that here. There's just one crew on one project until we finish.
What
Enjoying
sounds
that.
easier?
Well, okay, so yes, it's easier, also more boring. You
Really?
know, yeah, you have to consider that with these jobs. It's a longer project, and as a result, it's more boring.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I don't
Yeah, I'm not a
have
fan of boring times like that
nope.
either.
Nope, nope. There's a stronger and wonderful, more wonderful. It's more wonderful the rush that you get in working with many people instead of just a small crew.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
that's my
totally
world.
get it.
That's
Man,
my world.
right on, right on. Well, there's a good recap on you and I for the week and kind of just talking about us. I heard you went and saw a new movie tonight.
Well,
Going
as
into
a
the
matter
movie
of fact,
topic.
I did. We got rained out part of the day, so I just took off and found a movie theater and went to it to go see Thunderbolts.
And so this is the week of May 1st, or the weekend of May 1st,
Yes.
2025. So Thunderbolts
Yes.
just came out, which is a Marvel movie, if anyone's
Yep.
familiar. It's kind of tricky to explain this one. There is a Thunderbolts in the comics, but this one pertains to the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and what they're doing is they're taking a bunch of villains and ex-cons from previous movies and shows that are Marvel related and creating a band. They're banding together to create this group of people that are villains and bad guys trying to stop an even worse bad guy, I'd say. So,
Well,
do you
okay. It's funny you say that because they're not. It's really.
I know, but that's where they came from.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Do you
okay.
have a I know you're not heavy into Marvel, but do you have a from a non-Marvel like heavy Marvel follower? Well, you're somewhat Marvel heavy. Do you have a good spoiler-free review?
I've purchased every Marvel movie there is, have I not?
If I gave you a Marvel trivia right now, how well could you want to try that?
Do you have some?
How about I ask you a few questions real quick?
Oh no.
Not to be mean.
Well, either way, it's going to be a perceived. It's funny because I'm 60 years old today, 60 today, May 1st, and then of course I'm starting to show my age in a lot of ways, but that's okay. I like it. This is going to be fun, especially if you're going to be, quizzing on Marvel issues because Marvel. I've been a fan for a long time. Not as long
Okay.
as you have. What's funny
So,
is you're half my age, less than half my age, right?
well, this is something I'm passionate about.
But you're very passionate, and you and your brother both. You're both very passionate about this. So this is gonna be good.
Question number one. I'm going to start
All
off a
right.
little easy. I'm going to do, we'll stick with like 10 so we won't go crazy. Just 10 Marvel questions
Wow,
with
10 of
Noah
them.
and Chris.
All
How
right.
about that? We can make
All
that a
right.
segment.
Ten Marvel questions between Noah and Chris.
Okay,
All right.
question number one, starting off a little easy. A group of different superheroes band together to create a group. What is that group's name? That fight off aliens and big bads that that try to take over Earth.
Avengers.
Avengers, very good. That one was me. That was me starting off very easy. These are going to be now
My.
I'm going to ask you questions that are maybe a little more comic-y. I wanted to see where you're at. What type of scientist is Bruce Banner?
He's a nuclear scientist.
Very good. What is the name of the alien race that Loki leads in the Battle of New York in the Avengers?
The alien race that
Hmm.
Loki leads?
Yes.
He doesn't lead his own race, right?
No, he does not. He leads an alien race that the Avengers fight in the first movie. A bunch of aliens that fly out of that portal. It's very common.
Yeah. Man, dude, if you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you. What was that? I don't remember. Sorry, man. I don't remember at all.
You're totally good. Okay, so you're 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. We'll keep going.
You got to tell me the answer, don't you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So you want me to tell you? It is the Chitauri.
I would have never, even if I knew it, I
That's
wouldn't
old
have remembered
school.
that.
Okay.
Chitari.
Chitari.
Chitari. Did they even mention it in an episode?
All of it. Yeah, I mean, they were talked about for movies, and I think they were talked about for a while, both in Thor's, Iron Man's, all pertaining after Avengers, the original Avengers. They're pretty
Hmm.
classic, you know.
Well, they visited that race. They jumped on the Golden Bridge or the Rainbow Bridge. Bifrost was it? What was the
Yeah, by
Bifrost?
the Bifrost, yes.
And they visited that alien race, and I don't remember them talking about that race.
They did not visit the Chitauri. The Chitauri are a race that Thanos controls and runs.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay.
there was a secondary big bad to Thanos that was the main. He's under Thanos, and that's the one that Loki talked to into
Yep.
gaining a
Yep.
control or an armada of that fleet, so that way he could come onto Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Goes
All right.
really
All
in
right. Hit
depth.
me with number three. Number
But number
four.
4.
Number four.
Okay, number 4. Question number 4. So this one's going to pertain to a specific movie in Avengers Endgame. What food is Scott Lang trying to eat when it's blown out of his hand?
Pizza. Hot dog.
No.
God. Scott. Okay. Scott is the Ant-Man.
That's yeah. I guess I should be asking. This is pretty heavy in the Marvel universe. I should be asking more. I guess that's actually correct because that's what I want to know is how well you know the MCU.
Well, so it's
So
not
that's,
he's the Ant-Man, and
yes,
he is in the end game
Avengers
trying.
Endgame. There's a scene to where he is standing there and a ship lands. A big. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. It lands right in front of him. And I'll give you this hint. Someone walks up to, or the Hulk walks up to him and hands him another one of these because he notices his is no longer in his hand.
Man, dude, I don't even remember that. What?
Tacos, two
No,
tacos. He was holding it in his hands. The ship came down. It blew all of the insides out of his tacos, and the
dude,
Hulk came up and gave him another one.
that is amazing. Nope, I would not have. Man, that's amazing. I would not have gotten. Okay, all right, hit me with another one. I'll try five.
Who cuts Thanos' head off in Avengers Infinity War?
Okay, that was
I'm
gonna
sorry,
be
Avengers Endgame.
yeah. That yep. And in Endgame, it was
Thor. That's correct. Ding, ding, ding. You are 4 out of 6.
no. I'm 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Okay,
I like how you're prophesying. I'm gonna be out of 6. I'll be 4 out of 6.
sounds good.
All right, hit me with number 6.
Which Marvel character is known for breaking the fourth wall?
Breaking
He
the
has
fourth. Oh,
he has
that's
four.
fun.
He has 3 movies now.
It's yeah. It's gonna be Loki. Fourth wall. Yes, he did. He
Talking
did
to
break it.
us through the camera.
Yes, 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 and yes. The fourth wall. He did it in Loki. Yes, yes, he did. Okay, in a movie though. I guess you're
Yeah, he's
that
got
he's
3 movies.
famous
He's
for
known
it.
for it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be Ant-Man.
Nope.
Really?
That's
Who?
not it.
Who?
You want me to say?
Yeah, I don't get it. Who?
Okay. It is Deadpool.
For crying out loud! I don't consider him. See, that's hard. You don't see him regularly with Marvel characters.
But he is a Marvel character and now. He is a part of the MCU.
He's got to get on the stick, man, because I haven't. He hasn't been in a Marvel movie at all.
Did you not see Deadpool and Wolverine?
I guess not.
You need to watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay,
You need to
so
watch
he
that,
was
and I
it.
needed a quick assessment of it next week. We'll
We'll
rebound
add
to
it to
this
the list.
specific part. Yes,
Okay.
agreed.
All right, that
All
was
right,
7.
number.
I got
Okay,
6. 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6.
Four out of seven, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
4 out of 7. 4 out of 7. Yep.
All right, number 8.
Hmm. Give me 1 second here. I just want to find one that's reasonable yet difficult. That sweet
Well,
spot.
don't hold back.
In Thor Ragnarok, who does Thor fight in the arena while stuck on the alien planet Sakaar?
Well, let me see. Thor went to fight the Hulk.
That's correct. Yes, 8 out of 5. You are
Yeah.
8 out of 5.
No, it's 5 for 8.
That's the same thing. Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Well, I got 5 right. But 8 out of 5 would indicate I got, well, I don't know. It would indicate I got 8 right. So, all right. Yep. I remember that fight. That was fun. That was actually kind of fun.
Okay, here we go. Number 9.
Yep.
Okay, number
Number
9.
9.
Which Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home suffers from back pain out of the three?
It was going to be the second one, the second Spider-Man, and I don't remember his. I mean, they're all 3 Tobys.
No, no.
I mean, they're all three Peter, and I
What
can't
name did
remember
you just say?
Toby Maguire
Is that your answer?
was. Hold on. Yes, that's my answer.
Are you just saying that now?
No, it came to my mind while I was trying to think of it. Why? Did I get it right?
Tobey Maguire is the answer. Tobey
All
Maguire
right.
was the
See,
one that talks
see,
about his back hurting
6 out of 9. I like it. Oh
before
no,
being
5
popped.
out of 9. 5 out of 9. All right, doing a little bit better than halfway. I like it. And then number 10. Yeah, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 9 is a whole lot better than I thought. Let's see if I
Gotta
can get
find
6 out of 10.
one more.
All right.
One more that's just easy enough for you to know
Well, don't make
and
it
to not
easy.
know.
Don't make it easy. Just make it from the Marvel
Okay,
planet.
well in that case, this one's going to determine how well how many movies you've seen and if you know that if you remember all of them. This is going to pertain to all of those movies and knowing your answer. Number
Okay.
10 to
Okay.
get what? You're 6 out of 9 right now? Or you're 5 out of 9? 5 out of 9. So you want 6 out of 10 to go positive in answers. For the lead, which of these characters has Thor never had? Which of I'm going to give you a true or false or a true or false
Multiple
answer.
choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
multiple choice here. Which of these characters has Thor never had a verbal interaction with on screen through all of the current MCU?
My gosh.
So it's A, Star Lord, B,
We know it's not
Iron Man,
Iron Man. We know it's not Iron Man.
C, Spider Man,
So he's
or D, Loki?
Loki. Oh well, we know it's gonna have to be Spider-Man.
You're correct. Yeah, you're correct.
That was a little bit on the easy side.
It was. It was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody can remember him having an interaction on the screen with each of those characters, except for Spider. It's although
First off,
it's kind of wild that he's never had an interaction with Spider.
it'll probably come soon enough, guaranteed.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I
I
mean, he's
mean,
had an on-screen interaction with Deadpool already.
when?
You have not seen. You need to watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
No kidding.
Yeah, you need to watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay, I guess I got it because I don't remember much or anything for that matter. Anything.
All right. So officially, you have come 6 out of 10 Marvel questions correct, which means you are not 100%, but you're positive. You are a majority of the answers correct. So congratulations.
You're welcome, and thank you very much.
If I had some like a cheering board, I would cheer for you right now. Woo! Congrats.
Yeah, yeah. Merry Christmas to me. No. Happy birthday to me.
Yep, I'll add that in post afterward. Oh wait, I think I might have it. Let's see.
Yeah, good.
Congratulations. You've done it. And we will attempt to beat that record hopefully next week. We'll make this a saga, so we'll come back to 10 Marvel questions or superhero questions with Noah and Chris.
All right. All right. I'm going to know more about, well, I say I'm going to know more about Marvel, but I actually know a fair amount about Batman and Superman. So,
So we can keep it. Okay, we can go DC as well.
Yeah, yeah,
DC's
yeah,
definitely that is not as heavy as me, so that would be a good. You could even throw those at me. You know, you do DC
yep,
towards me, and then
yep,
I do Marvel,
yep, yep. I like it.
or
All right,
vice versa. You do Marvel to me since I know more, and you do DC since you possibly know more.
got you. Yep.
But yes, sir.
All
That
right.
was.
Well, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a chance for me to learn some as well.
So yeah, to go back to what we were talking about a second ago, definitely I'm gonna go see Thunderbolts tomorrow. So next week we will also bring a recap and we'll go ahead and it'll be a week after, so we can actually bring some minor spoilers. Come that week, we can actually talk about things. So it'll be good that we hold off. Do you have a spoiler-free review, real quick?
No, no, no.
Nothing.
Everything. Yeah, I mean, I could just see if you haven't seen the movie yet, just about anything I talk about will be kind of a spoiler.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair
So,
enough.
yeah,
Say
I'm
no
just going to
more.
respect that. I'm going to respect that and give you guys room. Tomorrow or the next week, rather, when we talk, we'll be talking about the movie and you'll have had plenty of time to go see it. Everybody will have, all of our listeners will have had time. And if they haven't, it's going to get spoiled.
Yep, yep. So that to look forward to, and which brings us into our excuse me, which brings us into our next topic. Do you want to bring up the next topic?
Well, Epic Universe for sure.
Okay, yes, Epic Universe is something that we spoke about quite a bit the last episode as well.
Yes, we did.
Theme park down in Florida, they are now having people come into the theme park and show video and show all that, and it's just got me hyped to a point to where I can officially announce I'm going. We are going to Epic Universe.
Yeah, you're going to be spending a couple grand.
Yeah, well, it won't be that bad. Well, overall for the whole trip,
Yes,
yes,
you will. Yes, you
but
will.
for the day, it won't be that bad.
Right on. Right on. And congratulations.
Hmm.
Uh,
Look forward to
I
it.
I already made some commitments to our family trip, which takes place in a couple weeks after. So I went ahead and, with those commitments, had to bow out of the Epic Universe trip, which I had planned on going to.
And it's all good. We'll be able to do our trip together, and I will be able to give you guys some insight here in the next coming couple months. Actually, the trip will be in August, so a little bit, late fall or early fall. I'll be able to give you guys some insight as to how my Epic Universe trip went and my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be jelly.
But definitely hyped for it. We're going to be able to go and explore the new lands and foods. And I am a big fan of theme parks, so I don't know how many of you guys are, but it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Of course, I've been to all of the other parks down there, and definitely have to get into the East Coast. I'm sorry, West Coast theme parks, but that's for a later date.
Remarkably enough, you go to the West Coast and it's nothing like what you
I
get.
mean, it's still a part of it though. And if I call myself a true diehard fan, I've got to go to all of them, at least once.
Well, I won't waste a dime on the West Coast, and it
Hey,
has
that's fair.
nothing to do with politics. It's just the West Coast doesn't even hold a candle to what you
That's
got on
fair.
the
But
East
at the
Coast.
same time, I've heard a lot of things about it having its own vibe. What Disney or what theme parks, mainly Disney and Universal, what they lack in Florida, they gain
No,
in Hollywood. Yes, yes, and vice versa. There's some benefits in Orlando that aren't in, or the East Coast that aren't in the West Coast. They have to each their own. Of course, Disney World is on a whole nother spectrum because it's a world and not a land. But overall, they do have their own vibes, and I've heard different reviews as far as what's better about each park, kind of deal.
hmm, okay.
Like,
Well,
what's that?
okay, and
Just to give a quick example, one example is they go super super heavy on the character meet and greets there. So if you were a fan of meet and greeting Disney characters or superheroes or or anything in that realm of just meet and greets with characters like that, they go super heavy and they talk to you and interact and stuff like that that they do not do in Florida.
Fascinating. You're
Hmm.
probably, now that you're an adult and now that you're a dad, going to get a little bit of benefit, right? But your son is going to get the most benefit out of it. And you probably
Oh
want to
yeah,
give him about 5 more years at least
I
to
agree.
get to an age where he's going to be able to benefit from that and have those interactions that, in a way that he'll want to talk about it, or you'll be able to talk about it even. Fascinating.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's very exciting, and I think you're right there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely like a good meet and greet on the occasion. I'm not heavy. I'm more into the rides and the lands, but occasionally they're cool and fun.
Okay. Well,
Have
that'll
you
be
seen
interesting.
anything new on Epic Universe?
No, man, it's funny because you asked me last week whether or not I've seen some of the commercials or what have you, and I mentioned that I've only seen them at the I've seen the commercials, but I don't have a TV, right? And I never watched TV, and if I did have a TV, I wouldn't watch them. Well, I mean, I've got 5 of them on the RV here, and I don't watch them. They never get turned on. I wouldn't even know how to turn them on, quite frankly. But I mean, I haven't seen them online either. Did see them when I went to the movies myself and went to see a new movie. They came up then, but have not since last week. I have not seen any commercials whatsoever.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I guess I get it a lot because I watch a lot, so it's kind of feeding me what I've been watching,
You're
just
the
like it does with everybody
algorithm.
else. Yeah,
You
that's
are
it.
the algorithm embodied.
Have you seen anything on the new Universal Kids theme park coming to Texas?
No.
So it was just announced that Universal is going to have a Universal Kids theme park. It's small, so they're calling it a resort, but it's going to have a full on like roller coasters and everything like that, and then a hotel attached to it, kind of like Epic Universe, but in a much smaller scale pertaining to kids. But it's Universal themed, so it's gonna feature 7 themed lands with popular characters from DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, Illumination, and a few others, etc. The theme lands that are apparently going to be immersive. I mean, theme parks, so of course the immersion will be there. These lands will be Shrek, Puss in Boots, Trolls, Gabby's Dollhouse. Like I said, this is a kids theme park. Nickelodeon, so you're gonna have SpongeBob, Minions, and Jurassic World
Wow. In one
with roller
location
coasters. Yep, and it's
in
gonna be in
Texas.
Frisco, Texas.
I have no idea where that's at.
Neither do I.
Well, I mean, are we talking south, north,
I think
east?
it's
Well, it's got to
south.
be east. I mean, it's got to be where probably between probably between. I'm guessing probably between Houston and Galveston.
It is just slightly north of Dallas.
Really?
Yep. Very, very weird. Like on the outskirts of Dallas, north.
Well, that would make sense though. Dallas is an attractant. Really? So did they say how long?
Probably within the next couple years. I don't. They may have given a an actual date, but I have not seen it yet.
Fascinating.
2026, so next year.
Wow.
Crazy. And
Wow.
being kids, it's going to be just in time for Lincoln to start getting to that age to where after a couple years of being open, might be a new hotspot for us. Who would have thought
Mhm.
going to Dallas for vacation?
Mhm. Well, I could see that. I could see it. Dallas is a pretty strong spot. It's not
Something I never
obviously
thought
not.
about.
It's obviously not the Florida, and it doesn't have
Mm,
any beaches whatsoever. It's got a couple
mm-mm.
lakes and probably has a beach or two. But wow, okay, fun,
Interesting. Yeah.
very
A little more theme park news and information for you.
fascinating. I like it.
So, just to recap, Epic Universe just opened up. Got a couple new lands there. Exciting. I do have a trip planned and a new one opening in Frisco, Texas, a Universal Kids Resort theme park. Also exciting.
Who
If
would have
anyone out there
thought?
has kids, Maybe that's something you can look into starting 2026.
Wow. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, just made myself a note and added to our podcast topics.
So we brought up movies. We've spoken about Epic Universe and all that. Anything else that you want to bring up? Those were kind of my topics.
Yeah. I wanted it to be more, I mean, I hope you don't mind, but I just wanted it to be more about you this week, less
Uh,
about me. Because last week I talked so much.
and sometimes that's okay because you have a lot to get off your chest, and that's the beauty of podcasting. We can chat it up and just share it with everyone else for everyone else to listen.
Well, you know, for many of those that might listen, you know, most may not know that my name is Chris and I'm not a rich man, but I'm the richest person I know. I am the wealthiest person I know because of my relationship with God and also my relationship with my family and how much God has blessed me. A lot of people don't know, really do not know the value of a relationship with God and what it means, what it can mean for them. Why anywhere I go, I'm happy and I'm healthy, you know, even though I was dumb, I was really dumb in my 40s and didn't treat my body that well. I lived on 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, 2 and 3 Red Bulls a day on average of the
So there's
large.
something. That's something you need. That's a good explanation to teach people. You were there and now you're here. How can you help them to avoid that?
Well, now, you know, of course, I think we mentioned it last week in May of 2018. This month marks 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, from when that happened.
Crazy.
Yeah, but May of 2018, I told my wife I couldn't stand up. My equilibrium disappeared, and my ability to speak clearly went away. I couldn't speak because the right side of my mouth was starting to suffer from the effects of having had an aneurysm or a start of an aneurysm. And I told her that I didn't feel well. We went to the hospital and they immediately started medevacing me to Salt Lake City, a much bigger hospital. I was in Wyoming. They medevaced me to Salt Lake City and got me to a hospital where they could work with my condition. There wasn't much they could do for me because once your brain starts to bleed, they can't stop it. They can't stop it. It has to clot on its own. And what they did definitely worked. I woke up the next day completely paralyzed on my right hand side from a stroke. Now that stroke was the effect of me being stupid. 2 to 3, 4 hours of sleep nightly, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. I was really stupid about how I lived. I wasn't dieting. I wasn't watching what I ate. I was just eating whatever I could, whatever was available at that time, whatever was most convenient, which is really, really bad. And then, like I said, on average, 2 to 3 of the large Red Bulls daily.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of people do that. A lot of people depend on energy drinks and just being able to kind of get them through the day.
And
Can
and
be
the doctor even asked me if I had a steady diet of those things. That was one of the first
of
things he
energy
asked.
drinks and all that.
But yeah, just any energy you drink. And when he asked me specifically what kind, I told him Red Bull because it gave me wings. He had a lot of good words that, I was scolded right there and then. I was scolded. And it was because of the Red Bull and
Sorry,
because of the lifestyle that I was living and the Red Bull that I was drinking.
that also wasn't supposed to happen. I'm learning. I was trying to find
Finding
the
your side.
because the
Oh.
Red Bull gave you wings and totally missed it.
Yeah. We need to be looking for those points where we could communicate that way. But yeah, it was stupid. And so, I was living that dumb side of my life, right? Other people burn the candle at both ends partying. Other people, they burn the candle at both ends living a promiscuous lifestyle. Who knows? There are a lot of different ways but I have since, of course, given myself back to God. One of the first things that Eloy said to me when he walked in my room is, "Hey, Chris, God told me this morning to tell you that he forgives you." And I'm sure just like most anyone now, I could or would, did say, well, I've got a lot of things. I thought that in my mind. I got a lot of things that I need to be forgiven of, forgiven for. And I wanted to know which exact thing God was forgiving me for. And he didn't even, Eloy didn't even go there or entertain that thought. He just said, and he also told me to tell you that he's going to heal you. And
Oh,
then
that's crazy.
slapped me in the forehead with a handkerchief that had been prayed on or prayed over, anointed with oil and prayed for with his wife. I took that thing and slapped me right in the forehead and hit me hard. And then said he rebuked the adversary and then prayed that God would heal my body immediately in Jesus' name. And then took about 8 steps back, anywhere from 6 to 7, 8 steps back towards the window. And then turned around and looked at me and said, "Get up." Yeah, so I am rich. I am very rich, and I'm very thankful for what God has done for me.
And I believe the last time, if I'm not mistaken, that same story, I think I used the phrase modern day miracle.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's definitely a modern day miracle. And I've been able traveling like I do, I've been able to tell that story and share it in the way that it is a testimony. I've been able to do that with more than 200 people. More than. Easy, more than a couple hundred people. And I'm very blessed for that as well because I know some people have been able to gain some faith in the fact that God is still doing miracles today. Still doing miracles. Just like a biblical miracle, the blind man or the lame man or the mute man or whatever, or individual that God healed. There were many, many times where God healed, not even written in the Bible, and I'm one of them.
If
Good.
anything, people hopefully the takeaway people can get is Red Bull doesn't give you wings. Actually,
Mm,
I take that back. Red Bull could potentially give you wings, just not in the way you want.
well, yeah, I mean, it does temporarily, right? Just
Yeah,
just about anything anymore in life is something that should be done in moderation,
of
right?
course, moderation is big. That's something I'm learning and have learned recently.
Absolutely. And Red Bull is not something that you can do moderately. And literally, I mean, alcohol, for example. Some people like the taste of beer. Some people like wine. Some people are more of a hard liquor, a whiskey type person, for example. And they would want to drink 2, 3 of those in each day, go throughout their day or whatever. That is a form of alcoholism. To drink a beer every once in a while, you know, that grows into more of that's a different conversation. However, Red Bull, you can't do it in moderation. You can't. It's not
Interesting.
designed for that. And I definitely abused it.
It's easy
I
to
did.
do.
Yeah. And I did not deserve the miracle that I got. So that's
Mm.
one of the many reasons why I am one of the wealthiest people I know.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that is, that's just me yakking again. Sorry, didn't mean to take up so much time. I'm a blessed
I
guy.
don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can.
I live a super stinking fantastic life. I live my life 8, 9, 10 months, maybe even 11 months on the road. I enjoy movies, especially when we can talk about a Marvel movie.
So
It's nice.
what? Okay, so outside of the Marvel movies, you said you enjoy movies. Do you have any, as far as you, do you have any movies that like you've seen recently that stood out to you, or
Well,
or
you know,
on that you'd want to review?
I want to be challenged. If I'm sitting down in front of a screen and going to watch a movie, a story of sorts, I want to be challenged. I don't know what anybody else is like, but I want the story to challenge me, the story to grab my attention, yank me into the screen, and then go somewhere, right? And So I haven't enjoyed many movies lately. One of my favorite movies when I was a kid, or when I was a junior in high school, I think it was a movie that Michael Douglas starred in, of all people, and Sean Penn, where Michael Douglas was this wealthy guy that his brother did something that was turned into a big test of his life. Those kind of movies challenge me. Several Shyamalan movies really challenge me, and I'm a big fan of those as well. But then
Those
you
are good
have
movies.
stories, yes, and then you have like the stories that just recently came out, not the modern one. I did capture some of those, but the park, the national park that's up here in Wyoming, not Amazon. Why am I thinking that?
Yellowstone,
Thank you very much. So the stories before Yellowstone.
1980, 1883 and 1923.
Okay, there you go. Both of those were awesome. Super stinking fantastic.
I agree. I watched 1883, fantastic. A little slow, but good. And then 1923, I'm watching right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
Highly
both of
recommend from both of us.
them. Okay, and that's awesome. So yeah, you got certain stories really capture you, and of course the
Did you
guy who
start watching Yellowstone because it was familiar to the lifestyle up here?
I start no well no actually the reason why I started watching Yellowstone was because somebody
Interesting.
yep, and then I started an episode and it kind of hooked me, right?
Yep. Yep. Well,
And
it
that's
started
one.
with me. Uh, I was gonna watch. I got recommended it as well. Yellowstone, the original, like the main Yellowstone show, and I was like, nah, I don't like that stuff. I'm not cowboyish or whatever, and I don't get into that. And then started seeing. I think I started seeing clips of the show, and I was like, okay, well, maybe the show's a little more than just cowboys, even though that's kind of its premise.
Mhm.
And gave a episode a try and was immediately hooked. And you know
Yep.
what's funny is it kind of also grew because there were similarities that from moving up to Wyoming, there were similarities that were happening in that show that were actually that were familiar to what I knew from living in Wyoming. Like it
Yeah.
is very much that lifestyle and just what they do. It's a little different because that's Montana, but close enough. And there's a little bit of Wyoming in there, and it's just very interesting how they portrayed it. I will say.
Very good. That you explained it much better than I did, and in
Mm,
shorter time. Good job.
mm. Well, I mean that's just my kind of review. I like to give a review, like kind of a quick review as far as just anything I've experienced, kind of passing it along. So there's my review on Yellowstone.
Whether people want it or not,
That's it. It's out there.
absolutely. Well, and of course they're not going to go wrong with it. They're going to be, you know, thinking about it like you did. I'm sure.
Hmm.
How's
That yeah.
Go ahead.
That's only yeah. I mean, there's this the part for me that kind of there's in between because it's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, since living in Wyoming, I was understanding of it more than I would if I were still living in somewhere like Florida or Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Very
know.
good.
Texas is familiar to it, with that cowboyish life in Texas and
Yep.
those cowboy ranches there, and even in Texas.
Ranch life.
Yes. Ranch life.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommend Yellowstone. Definitely a good show and a point of reference to see what that northern, you know, Montana, very Wyoming lifestyle. So if you guys want to see what I'm familiar with the somewhat Wyoming lifestyle, check that show and check those shows more than just Yellowstone. Also 1923 and 1883, both really good. All three really good. Highly recommend. If you're not familiar with what Wyoming is or what we are, and you probably still won't understand a lot because it doesn't go in heavy to Wyoming, and Wyoming's so mysterious in itself.
Yeah, to some.
I mean, like for crying out loud, we have a monument or a thing, a place called Devil's Tower, and it is. If anyone knows what is it? Because I'm not sure, and it's quite interesting. Nothing in the U.S. resembles it, so it's very interesting as to how it was created or what it is,
Yeah, it's a movie landmark
to
as
say the
well.
least.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
probably want to
yeah.
visit.
A classic.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. Oh man, well, it's 9:42 p.m.
Yeah, about just about an hour. That was perfect.
Yes, sir.
Kind of
I
covered all
like.
topics there.
Yeah.
Short but sweet, but long but quick.
You okay? Well, plenty of room to edit, plenty of stuff to edit out and turn it into a just the right length in time.
Hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
So
Well, I think I'll create some. I've started our work already. Started working on some topics for next week.
perfect. Well,
Make
then we
sure they're
will
done.
resume this next week. I'll go ahead and post this weekend for you guys, so that way you guys can listen in. Hopefully, these will grow more consistent and just it'll be the same routine every week as far as posting around sometime on the weekend, so that way you guys have something to look forward to if you're tuning in and listening.
Amen.
So
Awesome.
it was good talking to you. Oh yeah, everyone, make sure to tell Chris happy birthday because he is officially 60 years old. So the big 60, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, happy birthday, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Same. Same. Looking forward to it. All right, buddy.
All right, bye.
Peace out. All right.